Turns out losing Travis Kelce is too much for even the great, mighty Andy Reid to overcome in 48 hours. And that was the difference last night. I don't want to hear about Chris Jones not being there. I don't want to hear about any of that. The reason why the Chiefs lost last night is because Travis Kelce was not on the field and no one else could step up in his absence. The drops, Perloff, were egregious. Every one of those receivers let Patrick Mahomes down last night.
I totally disagree.
On what part?
I think the Chiefs easily could have won that game if Andy Reid was on planet Earth with his play calling.
Oh, now he's not the genius.
Well, he's a genius in the first 15. That is for sure. Actually, last night, I don't understand. They snatched a win. They snatched a loss out of the jaws of victory last night. They had that game won at home.
Yep.
They just refused to do anything that made any sense whatsoever. Okay, yes, not having Kelce killed them. There's no doubt about it. Not having Chris Jones probably hurt them as well. But still, Andy Reid had to get creative to lose that game.
He did.
I mean, the Chiefs kept driving down.
What is he thinking?
2nd and 2 is not a desperate situation where you can't get a first down for the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think they got so cocky, they assumed there's no way we're going to lose this game at home. When they went up 14-7 and a half, I mean, I think everybody's like, oh, okay, here we go. It's a Chiefs thing is happening. And I think the Chiefs thought it was happening, and they just got so cute with their play calling, so arrogant almost. It was not quite the ring around the rosy, but they were still doing trick plays when just a handoff to the right would have won the game.
Just simplify the whole thing. You're so right. The direct snap to Blake Bell, hands off to Rashee Rice. Like, why are you doing that stuff? I get why Dan Campbell, well, I didn't agree with it, doing the fake punt that early. I mean, I don't want to play the results and not the process here. I was against that in the moment. I'm not even going to pretend like I thought that was a good idea. I thought it was a terrible idea. But I understand if you are the underdog Lions coming in to Kansas City in a hostile environment, you feel like you have to pull out some kind of trick. You got to do something to keep your team in the game. So I understand it. I never understand when Andy Reid does it. And I'll be honest, for as poorly as the receivers were for the Kansas City Chiefs, didn't help that your 2 new tackles also both got dinged for penalties on that final drive. You give the ball to Patrick Mahomes with 2:30 left on the clock in a 1-score game. I'm assuming that the Chiefs are winning that game. I thought they were all the way up until the 4th and 25 that somehow they went for.
Right. Even the Chiefs, everybody assumed they were going to win. I think the Chiefs assumed they were going to win. But the little things, the points they left on the board, that's not what winning teams do. They obviously had all these opportunities. Here is probably my biggest problem, and maybe this is something I've never been a head NFL coach. I don't know what you're supposed to do. All of America knew Kadarius Toney had lost his confidence. That was completely clear.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of deserved to lose his confidence after that horrible performance.
Yeah, he dropped the ball, and Brian Branch out of Alabama, who I wanted the Eagles to pick, returned it for a pick 6. Don't put Toney back in the game. He's been suffering with a hamstring. Is it a hamstring?
Yep.
He hasn't practiced much. Don't put him back in the game. So what do? You give it to him on a key 3rd down on a jet sweep. Or sorry, it was 2nd and 1. Give it to him on a jet sweep. He loses 4 yards. He did not look sharp with that run at all. Then at the end of the game, he drops a pretty good Patrick. Maybe it's a scunch behind him, but he definitely should have had it.
Which would have put him in field goal range.
Field goal position to win the game. And you shouldn't have had Toney out there. You have a lot of these middling wide receivers. Throw one of the other guys out there.
Wait a minute. Can't have Toney out there. He was like wide receiver 1 last night or 2. MVS had 2 catches. Like, these guys, they didn't have anything. That's why the Kelce injury was everything. They felt like they couldn't afford to take Toney off the field, even though he was killing them.
No. Well, they should have thrown the ball to Sky more and more.
He had no catches.
Yeah, because they didn't throw it to him. They were not
3 targets, no catches.
They were not throwing it to him. They really could have thrown to Justin Watson a lot more. He was really productive.
Yeah.
Every time they threw it to Noah Gray, something good happened. There was plenty of targets. They just, first of all, Mahomes was running around like crazy, which was fun to see. But I think the game plan just wasn't there. Just hand the ball to Isaiah Pacheco. Just do something simple. On the other hand, and I can't believe I'm saying
credit to the Lions defense.
Credit to everything about the Lions. The Lions were the smarter team by far. They took the air out of the ball. Yes, they were going against a Chris Jones-less Chiefs defense. It was interesting to me that they were like, well, we'll take 3-yard carries and punt the ball. They just wanted to control the game. Dan Campbell coached a really smart game overall. He made some mistakes, but I think he set the tone. That's how you got to beat the Chiefs. You got to slow the game down. And Jared Goff, does he ever make mistakes anymore? Like when's the last time he threw a pick? Did they say this is 9th game in a row without a pick? He is. I'm sorry, Maggie. He's good.
Listen, I'm not saying he's not good, but there was a moment when the Chiefs kicked the field goal and they go up 17-14, and then the Lions go 3 and out. And I'm like, oh, it's night time. And then to the credit to the Lions, they end up coming back later and scoring a touchdown. But I thought it was over then, because that's normally what happens with the Chiefs. Like, you go up a score, then you screw up and go 3 and out, and then they go night.
I thought it was basically over 14-7 at the end of the half. Yeah. It's not a game the Chiefs normally blow, but I think the Lions, to their credit, really wanted to keep it close and thought, you know what, the Chiefs are without Kelsey. They're not going to be explosive. So let's play it like we're playing against a mortal offense, and it was a good long-term strategy.
The only thing is about the Lions, I thought, listen, credit to the Lions. I'm not taking anything away from them. This is awesome for a team that had all that hype to go and sneak out of Kansas City with a win. Like, unbelievable what that does for the team. But I didn't think they were, like, amazing.
No, but that's because they never threw the ball in early downs. They were playing really conservative. I mean, they're handing David Montgomery Mr. 3.8 yards per carry from formerly the
Mr.
Bears.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. They opted not to, I don't understand. I mean, honestly, you saw what the Eagles did to that Chiefs secondary. I don't know why the Lions weren't just throwing the ball downfield. But the Lions don't have a lot of outside targets. But they really slowed it. It was all on purpose, I think. They were like, let's make it a close give Mahomes any time to get rhythm going.
It was a head scratcher, really, for the Chiefs. Even if you knew, and we all knew that it was going to be different without Kelsey. And then you have Chris Jones sitting in a suite in the stadium, which we knew was going to happen because yesterday Carrington Harrison joined us from Kansas City and told us he's going to be in the building. But that was almost like taunting the team. Like, he's sitting there. He's got the 2 agents on either side of him, both on the phone. It was like Ari Gold might as well have been there from Entourage. And just come down. Just come down. Just get this thing settled and get on the field. To me, it was like you were taunting your own team. I don't know if you meant it like that, but it felt like you're trolling your own team and fans because you're in the building, you're clearly perfectly healthy, and because of this contract, you're not on the field.
Right. I think as a show, we don't knee-jerk like to support ownership over players. Usually we try to support the players.
So we're pro-labor around here.
But Chris Jones signed the biggest contract ever for a defensive tackle when he signed it 4 years ago, and he's due $20 million this year. Do you have to be in the stands? Let's figure out some other way to get a raise here.
Well, I think you want to be there because they were, like, celebrating the Super Bowl team, but it's like, I don't know, maybe something that everyone could have thought about a week ago. It was just very awkward to have him there, I thought.
Also, he should probably be out there. He's supposed to get paid $20 million. He's costing himself $1 million a game or something crazy like that. I don't totally understand his strategy. He should have held in and not held out. Whatever it is, his strategy is hurting the team. And the funny thing is, he looked happy at first, but then they cut to him a couple other times. I think that he's going to rethink this strategy.
Well, they're going to need him. They go to Jacksonville next week. I
don't think you're going to wait till week 8, which he had promised earlier in the offseason. Travis Kelce is my bigger worry. They said during the game that he tried it in a pool and didn't have power. When you don't have power in a pool where everything is easy, is he going to be ready for Jacksonville?
Well, 10 days of a layoff, so that works in the Chiefs' favor. And I was very much of the opinion, don't play Kelsey. It's not worth it. And I'll stand by that, even as brutal and painful as that loss was for the Chiefs last night. I didn't think the receivers would be that bad. How?
They weren't that bad. He was that bad.
Who?
Kadarius Toney.
Well, Toney was bad, but also like Sky Moore drop balls. They all had drops.
But not. I don't think they were.
Toney was the
drops.
most egregious.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think there were bad drops except for the Kadarius Toney stuff. I think Mahomes missed a couple people too. I don't think he was perfect, but they still moved the ball. Well, they had 2nd and 2 on 3 straight drives and were shut down on those particular drives because they were getting so fancy and doing these little jet sweeps or doing.
You kept Mahomes under 300 yards. Like, you got to feel great about that.
Yeah, because you know why how they did that. Because they ran the ball.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how you stop an opposing quarterback. You run the ball. Maggie, I say that all the time.
You do say it all the time.
All the time. Even at random times that make no sense. Like at lunch.
You pick up your phone and you're just like, run the ball. It's like, is this Perloff?
I'd say the Eagles probably should have done more of that in the Super Bowl. You really have to control the game against the Chiefs. Let me ask you this. We didn't talk about this pre-show. If you did pick the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl, which you did not, you picked the Jags.
Yeah.
which is going to look good after they kill the Chiefs in week 2. Would you feel less confident after last night?
Yes, definitely. Because
it's just, even though it's 1 week, we tend to overreact.
I know it's 1 week, but I don't trust Kadarius Toney anyway, even though he did score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Like, I don't want to act like he's been this total zero. He just has been hurt a lot. He's a pretty eccentric guy, and last night was really bad. But I don't trust. Well, listen, now you got to really hope and pray about Kelsey's knee. So yes, I would be concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're any closer with Chris Jones. It's like the same things. Do I think that all of a sudden Mahomes, as the season goes on, he's going to get more chemistry with the receivers? Like, sure, everyone still is pretty young as far as like in the system of Kansas City. It's not like guys who've been around the team for a really long time in terms of their receiving core.
But why do they play the other receivers? They have Sky Moore, Justin Ross, who was the star at Clemson, who got hurt, but looks good now. They have Richie James, who's kind of a role man. Rashee Rice, the rookie, looked great.
Yeah, but everyone's like young, or
Justin
if they're not
Watson.
young, they're young in the Chiefs system.
Justin Watson's been there a few years ago, went to Penn, for what that's worth. I think that they had other targets. He hit 13 guys in the game. There's plenty of guys to throw to. Obviously, Kelsey is the one significant difference maker, but I would bench Toney. In fact, I said that after the drop that led to the pick 6. I thought to myself, like, Reid cannot put him out there again. He is just shot for the day. That happens, Maggie. Players lose their confidence. Man, and to go to him in key situations in the fourth quarter, that's on Reid.
Just brutal. Brutal from Toney, brutal from Reid. I mean, tough one for the Chiefs. Want to hear what you think? 855-212-4CBS. Meanwhile, Dan Campbell, after the game in the Lions locker room, here's what it sounded like.
Let me ask you this. Did we expect to win that? We did, and that's exactly what we did. Because we built that way. And everything we talked about was how it went down. We had to be patient, man. Offense, we go all the way down and score. Defense, we need a takeaway. We come out at halftime, we get a huge takeaway. I told you guys we're built for this. We can overcome anything as long as you guys just hang with it. We got a ton to clean up when we get back. But until then, enjoy this.
Oh, yeah.
Your future coach of the year, Dan Campbell, with the big-time victory speech and a lip just full of dip. This guy's going to be chewing pounds of that stuff this entire season.
Keyword patience. They're going to be like more of a run defense team, which is pretty good. I mean, that in that division too, the NFC North, that's going to work.
Little shocking though, considering they were one of the best offenses last year, like high flying, lots of scoring. That's really where the confidence and all this hype around the Lions came from, was about the offense.
Yeah, can you think of one time Goff sort of just let a ball fly down the field?
I mean, nice throw to, what was it, Josh Reynolds?
No, I know, but like a
like a bomb? Yeah. No.
And that's against Kansas City.
I know.
I mean, listen, Steve Spagnuolo can do many things. He cannot stop the long pass, and they just didn't care.
Can Jared Goff throw the ball deep to begin with?
Goff's got a big arm, I think.
Have we ever seen evidence of this?
Jared Goff?
No, he must.
I feel like even with the Rams, there's a lot of like short to medium passes with a lot of run after catches and smart play calling. And
remember
like
the?
I don't remember him like throwing like deep bombs though.
The 54-51 game, I think he threw over the top like 5 times. I mean, any NFL quarterback can throw a bomb. Everybody can throw long. Anyway, Jared Goff, he's pretty good, Maggie. He's not a bad quarterback.